Connor, do you want to kick us off then?
Yeah, sure. Hi guys, nice to see you. Bit of a different environment, so it's nice. I guess we start with where you guys are at the moment. I'm beating in 9, good run of form in 2025. I mean, Andy, let's start there. What has sparked that? What's been the key to sort of that real improvement that you've seen since sort of returning after Christmas?
Well, it's been the clean sheets from Hope and the backline. That's what's kept us there. But I think it's something we spoke about in between the break. We came back just before the new year and we spoke as a group that we wanted to make sure that we were focusing on us and what we do each session and each day. And we're in a moment now where we're in sort of 3 evenings a week. We're about to train tonight. But then usually a Wednesday, sometimes a Friday, if availability allows it. Players like Hope and some others can come in and do sessions as well. So, there's been a real good desire from everyone in the group to come in and do a little bit of extras, making sure that, themselves in their units or the little groups of, we've in the analysis we put defenders together, wingers together, fullbacks together, and those little things really we've changed. We haven't done anything drastic. It's just been very much hard work and trying to focus on us. We've spoke about the opposition, but it's how do we use our strengths to get round through or over the opposition, and they've all been brilliant since we've come back, and that's what we've seen in the results as well.
I guess having that little break has probably helped you do a lot of that stuff, because as you say, when the windows are so small and the games are so constant, I feel like it can be quite difficult away from sort of training and games to properly step back and assess.
Yeah, the women's game allows that because we get the Christmas break, and I think it was one we had quite a successful period before Christmas. We went quite far in all the cup competitions that we could, and obviously still in the County Cup, and that led to us playing every single weekend from the start of July right the way through till Christmas. And once you get to that point, when all the players, all the girls, they all work, they all do other things on top of playing for Norwich City. So, for them, you could see that everyone was tired, everyone needed that little bit of a break. And in the women's game, we get a natural break, which is good. And everyone can go home, enjoy the Christmas break and do everything that we do over Christmas. But then we come back nice and refreshed. And sometimes a break is as good as anything. And we've been fortunate that, since then we took stock, and Hope and the back line have kept a few more clean sheets, and they're buzzing with that. And then, at the top end of the pitch, we've scored a lot more goals as well. So, it makes it sound very simple and very easy and enjoyable. But there's been a lot of ups and downs, and if we were here every week, there'd be a lot of other conversations we'd have had. But it's been enjoyable. I think that's the most important thing for me. It's been really enjoyable with the staff and the players. I've enjoyed every moment that we've had throughout the season, but especially the last 2-3 months now.
Yeah, I'll come on to you, Hope, in a moment, but in terms of sort of this period, you must be really pleased with how the players have taken it on, because as you say, it's all very well and good preparing analysis clips and putting things into groups, but then it's up to the players to actually take that information on board in that improvement.
Yeah, and I've had conversations with several players throughout the season. This is going to sound a little bit sort of over the top, but sometimes you put a team together, you put a plan together, you put clips together, and it's a little bit of a hope. No pun intended. It's a little bit of a hope that you win the games, that you play well, that Hope keeps clean sheets, that Quance does her job, and you go off the trust that you've built up, that you've seen stuff enough in training or enough in the season, and the players have built up the credit to go, right, this is the team that's going to play. And there's a player that really before Christmas didn't really get many minutes at all, and then has come on, has been fantastic the first 12 weeks of this year. Olivia Cook has been brilliant, and she's took a chance, and she's the example really of sometimes you've got to wait. We've had conversations, me and her, throughout the season of what she needs to do and improve on. And she took her opportunity when we had a few injuries and illnesses against Seaward, and she's been fantastic. And I know the girls have all been supportive, even before Christmas, when she didn't maybe get as many opportunities. I would often hear in sessions when she would go past the fullback, cross the ball, and the girls were all supportive of her, and it's good that she's been able to produce the performances she has, and she's been great. She's been great all season, but she's got the rewards, and that's her hard work, and it's something where, as you say, it's one thing putting it all together, it's another thing going out and producing it, and Cookie's done that. But so has everybody else. There's been lots of players that, unfortunately, are finding it hard to get back in the starting 11 at the moment. But that's because we're in a good run, and when things are going well, it's hard to change it because it's hard to justify that. And sometimes it's a tactical change, or there's a couple of tactical things we've made in certain games recently. But yeah, you're just looking at something and hoping it works. And the players have got to produce, and I've been fortunate that they've produced every session, and then they've continued to do that in the games as well.
Yeah, and hope, I mean, as a player, have you felt that shift sort of post-Christmas and things coming together a bit more, and obviously that improvement to create the sort of run that you've created over the last couple of months?
Yeah, definitely. As we spoke about, I think the break came at almost a perfect time for us. I think, reflecting on it, we probably were in a place where we didn't want to be physically, emotionally, mentally. So having that break actually allowed us to reset and refocus. And a really big thing that I think Andy's pushed since coming back is being present in the moment. Whatever happened before that happened, and there's nothing we can do about that now. But it's now our actions in the present. So each time something happens, so we keep winning, it's then the next game. We don't focus on that we've won a game. It's then how can we then continue that and make it better. And I think training as well has been incredible since coming back. Everyone's energy, motivation, communication has been fantastic. And honestly, I'm really proud of everyone in the team as a squad. We've got 16-year-olds in the squad that have probably been through emotional times in that period and have bounced back so well. Like, you've got to look at Izzy Moore, Sienna, people like that have played week in, week out and have made a big impression. And then obviously we've got other members of the squad that bring that composure, that experience, like Quants, Tash and that. And they've really helped everyone come along and keep going.
And you must really feel like you've grown as a team as the season has gone on. And it sounds like you're in a place now where the mindset's better and the balance is really good amongst you.
100%. I don't think, even during that Christmas period, I never questioned our togetherness as a team. We never broke apart. It was nothing of that. We were always together. We always helped each other back up and really pushed each other going forward. And I think that definitely showed after the Christmas break that we all had each other's back. Maybe promotion isn't on the cards anymore. That doesn't really matter. We're still a team. We're still pushing for what we can get. And we're pushing each other in training. And I think we're getting the best out of each other, which is the most important thing, really.
Do you think that freedom, and maybe this is one that you can both answer, that freedom of having what you had earlier in the season, and as you say, having a team like Bedford in this league, has it taken a little bit of pressure off you, do you think, and it's maybe allowed you to be a little bit more expressive, like you said? So I imagine when you've got the Norwich City badge on in any league, really, there is a pressure that comes with that.
I think, obviously, yeah, there is a pressure to it, but at the same time, pressure is a privilege. We don't get as many people coming to our games because we're just Norwich City. It's because they know we play good football, and that's a privilege, as I've said. So having that pressure isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think that's actually pushed us to be better, and we have such high expectations of ourselves, and obviously that's a blessing and a curse at times, but we know where we want to be and we know where we want to go as a group. So
yeah, I mean, same for you, Andy, really, because the room for margin in this league, as we all know, is so tight, isn't it, with one going on?
Yeah, and it's across tier 3 and 4 in the women's pyramid. Arguably tier 2 as well with the championship. The room for error is so small, and the period we had where there was a couple of losses and a couple of draws. That moment you're looking and going, well, it's going to be tough now, and it's still going to be tough. I mean, Bedford have got games in hand, but if they drop points, then it's down to them. But I think it always has been, really, and I think that unfortunately, in the first sort of 6 months of my time here, was probably the focus too much was on us and us going of Norwich City should win and Norwich City should be the ones leading it. But when you look at a team like Bedford, they can really, with the backing that they have from the ownership that they've got, that they're really are punching above their own weight, and we've got to really focus on us. And as Hope said, I think that's something that I've wanted to focus on after Christmas. And you look at the way that we probably could have worked in the first 6 months. If we'd have close to where we were in the last 12, I think the league table would look differently. But they're little things that we need to learn and we need to focus on, and we need to make sure that we completely that we just compete better in certain areas, and we probably could have competed better in the first 6 months in a few of those games. But the pressure for me is as Hope said, it's a cliched phrase, but the pressure is a privilege, because you work for Norwich City and you want to put them on the to get them into the highest leagues possible. It was the same for me working at Nottingham Forest and Newcastle United. The pressure was there in different ways and different versions, but you want to push yourself to be the best you can, and I don't see why you would get involved in any sport if you don't want to be the best that you can be. And I know that's the same for several of the players, if not all the squad here, that they're all on different times and different journeys. A lot of them obviously are still young and starting on their footballing careers. As Hope said, we've got several 16-year-olds that push the seniors as far as they can, and will continue to do that. And then the seniors are at a different moment where they've still got to work, they've still got to then come in and then train and play as well as anyone. So yeah, I think that sort of pressure is just in everyone's own mind, and what we've got to make sure is that as a group of players we lift the pressure, and as a team of staff we've got to make sure that they don't feel the pressure from us, because we can control all that. What everybody else says, yourselves in the media or fans or whatever it might be, that's the beauty of where we are in the world. The amount of social media and everything else that goes on, they can talk and build that up. That's fine. But as a group of staff, we've got to make sure that we alleviate the pressure from the players, and hopefully the players don't feel that, and then they've got to talk amongst themselves about how good they are, because they're a very good group of players, and they just need to keep working and as Hope said, be present in the moment. If they make a mistake, that's fine. It's the reaction that counts. Make sure they press the ball, they win the ball, and then they go forward and the drive us forward as a team. And if they do that more times than enough, they'll probably be on the end of a positive result on a weekend.
Yeah, I'll come on to that game in a moment, but I guess the sort of objective now is to apply as much pressure as you can, right, in terms of Bedford, if they do slip up, or try and make it as difficult for them now from here.
Yeah, and it always has been the case, but it's one of them where there's a lot of teams want to upset Norwich City because we are the biggest name in this league, because we are a huge club in the area, and you look at the geography of the league that we're in. If a team can take any points away from Norwich City, it's a huge scalp for them. So we've got the pressure that whenever a team plays against Norwich City, that they're focused on, well, we can beat Norwich, we want to beat Norwich. But that's been the same for me. I've had that at Newcastle United, I had that at Nottingham Forest, where everybody looked and wanted to beat those teams because of the infrastructure of those football clubs at the time, and it's the same here now. So for me, it's not a problem. It's a part of the game, and something that you've just got to embrace and enjoy, to be honest. But we've just got to focus on us, and that's what we've done. And when we played Bedford, I know I spoke to some of your colleagues that aren't here today, of the pressure's always been on Bedford, and it will continue to be that. And since then, they've done what they've needed to do. So that's down to them on how they do it and on the way they do it. But we just focus on us. We make sure the analysis was good last night, the session was good, and tonight will be even better. So as long as we do that, we'll be happy.
I hope obviously a big game this weekend. One will be second versus third. I mean, as a player, what's it like to play in those games? How exciting is it, obviously, especially being at home in front of your own fans?
It's so exciting. I think from us personally, we have a bit of a point to prove. Obviously, we drew 3-3 at theirs, and we can definitely play a lot better. We can go up the gears, and I think we've really got to show what we can do. Personally, for us, that felt like 2 points dropped. So we want to show that we can get the 3 points against them. And obviously, with the home crowd, it's always amazing. We have some ultra fans there as well, so it's always good to see them. And it's just another chance to put on a show and show what we can do as a group.
And in terms of obviously the nest and playing there, obviously you can speak about Carrow Road game, but how much have you enjoyed that this season? Because I think year on year it feels like that place has grown in terms of support, but also in terms of your performances and how much it's felt like a home to you guys.
100%. whenever a team comes to the Nest, I think they always think it's going to be a difficult day. We play really well there, and we have a solid foundation. And obviously, as you say, there's a good crowd, a good support. Ever since I've been here, I joined last season, there's always been a couple of hundred at times, so it's always good to be there and play there. And yeah, it's like a second home, really.
Yeah, and you've obviously got a County Cup final game at Carrow Road on the horizon, so it's still shaping up to be a really exciting end to the season for you guys.
100%. We've still got a lot to play for, and as I said, it's always an opportunity to put on a show and play as well as we can do, and show the graph that we put in the week on a Sunday.
Yeah, and obviously you said you joined last year. I'm sure you looked from afar at those Carrow Road games that there were previously, obviously played in some yourself. I mean, how exciting is that to see that growth over a sort of period of time in those Carrow Road games, and how big they've been and the crowds that they've attracted?
I think it's actually kind of mind-blowing. You think about some players that play in higher leagues than us and they don't get the same crowd, and it just shows the real backing and support that the women's team has here. And obviously playing Ipswich at Carrow Road was, despite the result, was an amazing experience. But yeah, playing at Carrow Road is a dream in front of thousands of fans. That's what can you dream of as an aspiring player? Not a lot more.
Andy, I know you said you've been at some big clubs in terms of in the north and in other areas of the country. In terms of the support that you've had here and at Carrow Road, I mean, how unique has that been from sort of your experiences so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's equalled it in many ways. And as Hope said, you look at coming from Norfolk, coming from Norwich and playing at Carrow Road is a special occasion, and I think in that game, Sienna Booty came off the bench against Ipswich to make a debut, and there won't be many female players that can say they made the debut for their club at Carrow Road. So Sienna's got that unique chance opportunity, or had that unique chance and opportunity there, which is good for her, and she's been fantastic since the turn of the year as well. But in terms of the club here, it's been fantastic. I've loved going around the city. Obviously the game at Carrow Road that's coming up will be huge, and hearing from Alex and from other people in the club that have been here many years talking about the amount of players, the amount of fans that came to watch when they've played previously has been great. So it's comparable, and as Hope said, that there's a lot of teams in Tier 3, Tier 2, they don't get the same numbers that we get, even at the Nest, never mind at Carrow Road. So, yeah, it's fantastic. And, when we went down to Chatham, obviously all the way down in Kent, I think the numbers there were great. And it actually felt like we were at home. There was a lot of the fans around us on the side on the subs bench there that, they were making noise, cheering us on, and they were fantastic. So we've had several away games where, you've had your hundreds coming down on a couple of coaches, which is great to see, and I know the players enjoy it, and I do as well. When you hear the noise, it gives you that sense of it's not probably how it felt for some of the players maybe 10 years ago. It really feels like there's a change of these fans want to do well for Norwich City. They want Norwich City, whether it's the men or whether it's the women, to do well, and we've got a core support that will follow us home and away, as we've proven in several games. And yeah, to be able to end the season at Carrow Road will be fantastic, and the game that we got at the Nest at the weekend, I'm sure we'll get a good crowd as well. But the fans have been great. I've loved working in front of them this season.
Last couple for you, Andy, but I mean, as you said, this has been your first season. I mean, how do you assess it? How do you feel it's gone, and it's evolved in everything that you sort of expected and hoped it would be?
Yeah, I think it's there's a couple of ways that you look at it. In terms of the overall objective of what I wanted to try and achieve, I wanted to make sure that we're promoted. That's still potential. We still have an opportunity, but that's out of our hands, as we spoke about earlier. I think we now need to make sure that we focus on us, and then that's where the second part of it comes in. I think we've got stronger throughout the season. If you had a graph, I think it's one where we've continued to get better and better and better as a team. The way that we've worked as a group, and the more I've learned about the players and them as an individual, them in units and group, as a whole group has just got stronger, which is naturally going to do. And one thing that I've wanted to try and achieve, I suppose, was make sure that the staff enjoyed working, the staff enjoyed coming in, because as well as the players, they all work and they all do things in the day. So when they come in to the evening, I want them to to want to finish their work, whatever it might be, get in the car, drive here and enjoy coming to work. And that's what I want the players to do. And hopefully they do that. I think, the fact that they come in 3 evenings a week, the Sundays are given up. And hopefully we have a little bit of a laugh and we enjoy ourselves while we're doing it, because I think that's one of the most important things in life. If you don't enjoy doing what you're doing, asking us questions, then you'll probably find another job to do at some point. But that's I think the beauty of life, and I think that's what we've managed to get throughout the season. So from that point of view, I think it's been great, and the objective is still to win as many games as we can. We've still got 3 to play in the league and the county cup, and that's what we're focused on, and that's the session tonight. It's very much working on trying to beat London Bees and work through and round them. And the session for Hope tonight, she's going to try and switch the ball from left to right. So we'll see how she does with that.
Yeah, and just final one for me, for you, Andy. I mean, in terms of that relationship with Johannes and Glenn and the coaches on the men's side, I know you've been in some of their sort of meetings, and there's been a lot of support from those guys as well. So how helpful have they been, and how impressed have you been with sort of how open they've been to helping you and the women's team?
I think that's got to be the biggest. I don't know what the right word would be as a journalist. I hope you can fill in the blank for me. But yeah, that's been the biggest credit I can give to Norwich City. I've worked at several football clubs throughout my career, but Norwich City by far is the most open in regards to. I was sat watching the session this morning, and Jack and Glenn and the staff there were putting on a fantastic session, and been sat in their team meetings, listened to how they're working and moving and everything that they're doing. And I know they've not had the results that everybody wants recently, when you just have to look at the results come through and see what people are saying. But the way that the players work and the staff work together has been fantastic, and the openness that Ben, Johannes, all the staff have shown, and not just them, the academy as well. Dean, Joe within the academy, the coaches. I'm always talking to Craney, to Ollie, to Nielsen. So yeah, it's been right throughout the club, and everyone has been fantastic and really welcomed me. And I've just tried to be a good bloke and make sure that I don't overstep my mark, just in regards to, I just want to watch, learn, try and find a little bit of inspiration if I can, and hopefully they've seen that from our side, as the women's side is getting better and hopefully more professional as well in regards to how we're working. They see the structures that we've got in place, that we want to be here as a part of them and be one of the 3 performance sides, if you like, with the men's first team, ourselves, and obviously the 21s with Ollie there. So yeah, it's been fantastic, and full credit to Norwich City as a football club. There's like I say, this is the only football club I've been to where they've been open and welcome for the women's head coach to stand and watch sessions, ask questions, and the amount of times I've been able to ask Glenn or Jack or whoever it is just a question as we're walking off has been fantastic. So yeah, it's real credit to the club.
Yeah, and the final one for you, I guess you feel that as well in your role and being around the men's team and the academy side of it as well.
Yeah, I actually saw Andy watching the training session this morning. It's amazing to be a part of Norwich City as a whole. I obviously get some insights, physical perspective, nutrition, psychology. I live and breathe Norwich City Football Club at the moment. And it's really good. I mean, being able to watch the first team, under 21s, under 18s, how they play and how it flows, it really helps me, to be honest. And being able to have access to not only Andy, but also all those other coaches. We do a bit of an analysis within my performances as well, which I enjoy sometimes, not all the time. But being able to get like little nuggets of information from anywhere is just so important. And actually seeing something from someone else's perspective is also really helpful, not just from a football perspective, but just general life, in terms of football, obviously. But I love it, to be honest.
Brilliant, thanks guys, appreciate that.
Just cool for me actually. You talk about taking on information. How much of a sponge are you in terms of learning and developing your game?
I try to be a big sponge and absorb as much as I can. Obviously, you have to filter out some things. But yeah, I try and take on board as much as I possibly can in terms of my own performance and the best way of preparing myself for match days and training. Thankfully, we've got some really good staff. Andy, obviously, we've got Will as our physical performance, Robin, physio, Ethan, analyst. I'm not forgetting anyone, am I?
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Jake doesn't
but
count.
We don't have to
He
talk
just
about
does
Jake,
goalies, so that's fine. But yeah, I try and take on as much information as possible, and luckily enough, we have a lot of resources and a lot of time, obviously being in 3 times a week, to actually use that as best as we possibly can. So.
And from your perspective, while you've been here, the feedback from the community and other clubs that the women's team has had an impact on?
Definitely. Just the support around the women's team is phenomenal. Previous clubs I've been at have not had as much support as this has. So I think the direction that this club is going is it's amazing, to be honest. To think back to when I started playing football, there's no pathway like Norwich City that was available. So for example, the under-16s coming through, they have such an amazing opportunity to develop this club and keep it going further and further.
Yeah, and Andy, just one from you, because you talked about the clubs that you've been at as well. Is there one single thing you think has improved a lot compared to when you first started out in the women's game?
I think the most obvious thing is the fact that people are taking it seriously now. I think when I first started coaching, my first job in part-time was with Middlesbrough Girls Centre of Excellence. So back home there in the northeast, it was one where we had a young player called Beth Mead who went on to do a couple of things that were okay. But she kind of set the tone when I remember when I first started coaching and what I'd have been in my early 20s when she was there of the women's team was, the way women's football was in the northeast there was okay, but there was only Sunderland. And you think within that time now in the northeast, you've now got Newcastle, Sunderland, Durham, Middlesbrough in Tier 4. They're making strides to move up the leagues like we are. And then you just look at the way that things are now around the country. So I think that the seriousness of the women's game now is at a point. Obviously, I've seen the report from FIFA, or I noticed one of your colleagues from, I think he works for the Telegraph, Tom Gary, mentioned about the amount of coaches that are involved within the women's game in regards to female head coaches, which is only getting better and improving. And I know there's a lot of players now that are exiting the game that are starting to take their coaching badges, which is then going to increase the pressure on just the quality of coaches, and that's what it should be, and that's how it should be as well, because fortunately, when Hope probably retires in 10 or 15 years time, she's worked with one of the best coaches ever in me, and she can use all that knowledge and experience to probably start coaching as well, and as well as that, she's a very good at her job within the sports science field as well. So on top of that, you've then got the amount of money that the women's game makes and women's sport makes, and that's only going to increase. It's not going to decrease, and it's something that I think a lot of clubs can probably take more seriously and probably improve on. But I think that's probably the what was 15 years ago. So in that period of time, that's how much has changed. It's now getting to the point where women's sport is making billions of pounds around the globe, and that's only going to get bigger and increase. I think it's all for the better, and I just would like it to continue, because there's some very good footballers and very good athletes and just good people that they deserve everything that they're getting, because they put in the hours of work before it was taken as serious as it is now.
So, thanks for your time. Good luck with the weekend.
Thank you.